Morning, welcome to Indycar. I'm Gordon Ross and it's the 8th of October today. In the news today, the Lords are planning a new bill on the British Constitution which they hope to introduce after Brexit. And in this bill they are going to ensure that Scotland is handcuffed to the UK in perpetuity and that we have to ask permission to do virtually anything at all. This bill has been rattling around the Lords for the last 12 months or so under a group called the Constitutional Reform Group. Many people are starting to worry about this and are asking if this is real and is it going to happen. Well, the answer is yes, it is real, and yes, it could happen, because the person who is promoting this bill is or was a very active member of the Commons, knows how to introduce bills like this into the Commons. At the moment, this is a bill in the House of Lords. It doesn't have hasn't had any scrutiny yet from the House of Commons. It hasn't even been introduced as a bill yet. And yet, if it is, it would basically tie the hands of Scotland forevermore. We would be stuck in the Union in perpetuity. We would have to ask permission before we did anything. The Westminster Parliament would be sovereign over Scotland, something which none of us in our right minds would ever permit them to do. So yes, it is a worry, and yes, it is yet another union provocation. But should we take it seriously? Well, yes, but also no, because it is a provocation and it might come to pass. But it can only come to pass after Brexit, because the whole idea of it is to write a new constitution for the UK and a new Bill of Rights for every British citizen after Brexit. So it can't be introduced until Brexit is complete. So that's the first thing. So don't worry about it just now. It is a threat and they might make use of it, but it would take some time, and they would have to do it after Brexit. But it puts more pressure on us to act now, and I think we all know that Nicola Sturgeon's under a great deal of pressure now to announce a new referendum. However, she can't just now, because for a few weeks yet we still will not know the exact nature of what Brexit is going to be. Will there actually be a Brexit? Will we come out of the EU with any kind of deal at all? It looks as though some kind of fudge is going to be arrived at with the European Union, but whether it will pass scrutiny in the House of Commons is anybody's guess. If it doesn't, there might be a general election. If Jeremy Corbyn wins, he might be propped up by the SNP. We might see the end of nuclear weapons in Scotland, and we might see another referendum as the cost of the Labour Party winning that support from the SNP. So all kinds of things are happening at the moment. It could or couldn't happen. It's all very much Schrodinger's cat as usual. We're waiting for the British as usual to do something. And of course they are muddling their way towards some kind of messy compromise which nobody will like and nobody will be able to accept. Now, coming back to the issue of the numbers of marchers in the march on Saturday, I've been accused by a number of people of overestimating the amount and not providing a link to my claim of 193,000 marchers. Let me clarify, for those of you who think I've overestimated, what actually happens is that the police do count everybody who marches past, but there have to be, once they've totaled that up, some people they must discount. For example, shoppers who happen to be walking in the same direction, tourists who happen to join in and walk along with the procession, all kinds of other people toing and froing in and out of the shops, crossing the road and so on. It gets difficult to estimate. So the police have to start with a figure, and as far as I understand it, the figure they originally started with, and this was from somebody who was watching the police count, was 193,000. Now over the few hours after that, they have to round it down. They have to discount the people who were just walking in the same direction, the shoppers, the tourists, and then they have to take into account those who joined the march later on along the route. It's very difficult to quantify. So the best estimates at the moment, to be absolutely fair to everybody in the interests of accuracy, that they are somewhere between 100,000 and 193,000. But we don't know exactly. We can never know exactly. No matter how official it is and where the figure comes from, it's always going to be an educated guess based on the numbers of people passing through a particular area of street. Some people have said, I know my friend Mike Larkin has said that there are no police cameras that count. Well, there are actually cameras that count crowds, and the police do use them. But in this case, the police are using something a little bit more basic. They're observing the numbers of people passing through a road area from a vantage point with a camera and making an estimate of the numbers passing through. But considering the fact that the march was only about, what, 3/4 of a mile long, it wasn't very long, and it took the march 90 minutes fully to go from one end of the march to the other for everybody to make it along. Gives you some idea of the scale of it. So if it wasn't 193,000, it was certainly more than 100,000. So if people have taken issue with the figures that I've put out there, then I apologise. If I'm inaccurate, then I try to make some kind of adjustment. So today, for the benefit of one person in particular, Alan Smart, Citizen Smart, sorry Alan. And also I'm sorry to you for mistaking you for a troll, because Alan took issue with me very vehemently over my figures. And okay, that's fair enough, Alan. You were right to do that and to call it out. So, Alan, I'm sorry about the figures, and by the way, I'm unbanning you straight away because I do get a lot of people trolling me. Some of them claim to be friends, some of them I haven't really noticed on my friends list. And to be fair to you, Alan, I know that you've been an independent supporter for a long while, and other people have you on their friends list. So, apologise for mistaking you for a troll, but sometimes people come online and deliberately try and wind me up, pretending to be independent supporters. So apologies to Alan Smart there. Alan, you're back on the friends list, and I hope you'll accept my apologies. I have always tried in this programme to be fair and to be as honest as possible, so if I make mistakes, I always try and correct them. This is one of those occasions, so I'm correcting the mistake. It wasn't 193,000, it was somewhere between 100,000 and 193,000, but I don't know, not even the police know exactly how many there were, because they were mingled with shoppers and tourists, people going about their daily business. It's almost impossible to know. General consensus of opinion is somewhere around about 125,000, and that's pretty much what most people seem to agree on. I think that's probably a fair estimate. Anyway, I have to go. Have a great day, everybody. But don't be too scared of the Constitutional Reform Group and their threat to introduce a new constitution which binds Scotland forever in thrall to Westminster. It may happen, but it's not going to happen until after Brexit. By that time, we will be long gone. Have a great day. See you later. Bye for now.